Dear students, as I informed you that today I will be discussing the second part of my lecture on challenges to democratic state and civil society. So here I am to discuss about terrorism as a challenge to democratic state. So what is terrorism? At the very outset, I would like to mention the meaning of terrorism. So terrorism as a terminology is quite known to you. It is something that all of us have witnessed or have seen on media or in television, or somehow some of us have experienced that personally. It is a kind of a situation where we feel threatened. A massive kind of violence act engulfs our lives and our entire society, and this is something that the entire world, or the we can say the entire nation, or the entire global community is under its threat. Now, what is this terrorism? See, terrorism is an act of violence which is being, accomplished by a group of people to fulfill some kind of specific demands. The demands may be of different kinds. For some, it is the fulfillment of the religious interest, or they want to propagate their religion, they want to establish their mights and their ideology. For some other, it is something when they feel a kind of deprivation in a particular society, when they feel that they are not, a part of the larger society as much as the other groups are. So this again leads to the development of terrorism. For example, in some of the places you will find that there is an emergence of uprising, or there is an emergence of such kind of violent means, because a group of people feel that either their language is being endangered, or when they feel that culturally they are being marginalized, or when their ethnic identities are not properly being recognized by the state or by the civil society. So that again leads to the development of terrorism, and this kind of terrorism is known as insurgency, because insurgency is a smaller kind of terrorism which is confined to a particular region or locality into a nation, and it is a fight between the state and a particular group of insurgents. Okay, but in both the cases, terrorism and insurgency, the ultimate result is the mass killing, okay, or killing of innocent people. Now, how we would define the term terrorism? Terrorism, we can say it is an act of violence which is ultimately, coming out of the menace, or we can say that it emerges out of the sense of deprivation, when a particular group or any specific group or an individual feel a kind of deprivation, then they resort to armaments. Okay, so terrorism is something related to the notion of deprivation, and that ultimately leads to we can say genocide, or a kind of xenophobia also. So terrorism is something, a challenge, or we can say it is a problem that has affected all the societies of the world. So what are the different reasons for the growth of terrorism? First one is religion or religious fanaticism. We find that in some of the religious communities, a group of people, they propagate some kind of agenda to fulfill their interest, or when we can say that they want to propagate their religion, they think that it is a kind of narcissistic feeling when they feel that their own religion or their own ideology is the most advanced, or we can say it is the most it is something that should be the religion or the value system of each and every group in the society, and they propagate their agenda through this kind of a mechanism called terrorism. Then there is another kind of group which suffer from some kind of extreme subjugation, or we can say that they feel, or they have a fear of identity crisis, and they feel that people belonging to some other groups and from some other community are trying to grab the resources of their land, and that again results into the growth of terroristic outfits. For example, whatever Northeast has witnessed, especially in Assam and Nagaland, or in Mizoram and Manipur too, we find that these are the example of where an ethnic group felt a kind of identity crisis, and they took up violent means to resort to their demands. Now, another important factor is that how this terrorism emerges, or how do they manage to get the manpower, because terrorism is an act that needs to be endorsed, or there is some need of manpower who can fulfill such kind of acts, and this manpower is nothing but a group of youths who are either they have some kind of we can say that setbacks in the form of lack of employability, or we can say that they have lack of awareness, lack of proper education, and they resort to gun, and poverty is a very very serious problem. If you closely analyze those who have resorted to terrorism, you will find that they are economically very vulnerable, they are educationally backward, and that is why they have resorted to such kind of means. So this is something, the economic causes for the growth of terrorism is very very significant. Okay, so that is why whenever we try to analyze the entire concept of terrorism, we have to take into consideration all those factors. Okay, and this terrorism ultimately, it is doing what? It is a kind of act which ultimately obstructs the process of development. Okay, whatever development we could have achieved, these are being thwarted by terrorist acts. So terrorism is nothing but something that is a hindrance towards development. And for example, you will find that the areas affected by the Naxalists, or Naxalism or Maoism, or some parts of the country have lack of industrialization, and how and why there is lack of industrialization, or why we find that those places are not that much developed. The reason is the prevalence of terrorism or such kind of violent acts. So terrorism is something that poses a kind of abstraction in the overall developmental agenda. Then another important we can say effect of this terrorism is that the rights of the children are being violated. The rights of the children are something that we find are mostly affected by this kind of terrorist acts. If you see the videos, whatever is happening in Syria, or those parts of Iraq, Lebanon, Nigeria, you will find that children are the most vulnerable group, and they are the group of people who, when they are supposed to be in schools, they are in hospitals, they are struggling to survive. So ultimately, children are the worst victim, and it is really very painful and disturbing to see when children are saying that I will tell God everything about whatever has happened to me. So this is something, from here we can understand that how this bombing, how this terrorist acts have jeopardized the life of the ordinary human being, and especially children. And again, another important group that is more vulnerable to this kind of terrorist acts are the women. Women are being used as slaves, and they are used by various derogatory means by this terrorist. So ultimately, it is something, the greatest threat that humanity has ever faced in its history. Now, coming to the next point is that this terrorism uh, is not something that only kills people. It even destroys the mental health of the people who are the victims of such terrorist acts. And this mental health of the individual, when it is affected, it is something, it is worse than the physical death of the individual. When we are psychologically broken. And here the role of education is very very significant. Why it is very very significant? Because of the fact that it is the education only that can heal the the kind of effect that has been caused by the terrorist acts. For example, I would like to mention here the case of Malala Yousafzai. I think all of you have heard her name, and she's one of the staunch human rights activists of the world, and she has been applauded for her service towards humanity. And Malala Yousafzai once said that gun can kill a terrorist, but education can kill terrorism. So why we are discussing terrorism in our paper of human rights and peace education? Actually we are trying to find out the plausible solution which education can bring to solve the problem of terrorism. You see, terrorism is something that has a deeper connection with the we can say the not only it tries to destroy the physical assets of the world. It is a kind of a psychological warfare also. Okay, so how to prevent this kind of psychological we can say that violence? The role of education is very significant here. Another point is that whenever any terrorist acts are being conducted, you will find that most of the terrorist organized terrorist activities, they target the educational institution or the sector of education. For example, as I told you, the case of Malala Yousafzai, she belongs to Pakistan, the Swat Valley of Pakistan. And if you get time, you just read those, writings of that time. This Swat Valley was under the Taliban regime, a very, very, dangerous kind of a terrorist group. And they, first thing, do you know what they have done to show their might, to show their power? They had stopped all the, they had closed down, shut down all the educational institutions in the Swat Valley. Okay, and she was the one who was protesting, and for which she was being shot also. So education is being targeted by the terrorist group because of the fact that they know that the moment people are being enlightened, the moment people develop that rational attitude through education, then they won't get the manpower whom they are utilizing for fulfilling their vested interest. Okay, as I told you that who are the terrorists? These terrorist groups lack education, they lack employability skills, they lack basic amenities of life. And as a result, and they don't have proper means to earn their livelihood, and as a result they take resort to such kind of violence means. So ultimately it is something, a very very serious cause of terrorism. Means whatever manpower or whatever resources they are trying to utilize for fulfilling such kind of means terrorist acts, they mobilize those youths who are unaware, ignorant about its consequences. So that is why they target the educational institutions. For example, Boko Haram. Okay, it is again a very very we can say that one of the draconian groups of the world. in line with that ISIS. And what they have done, do you know, in Nigeria, this group of people have um, closed down 2000 schools in Nigeria, and they have abducted 200 girl students of a school, and they have kept them as slaves. So this is what they are doing. They are targeting the educational institution, because they know that education is the only means to open up our minds. Okay, when we will not preach such kind of violence, when we have proper outlook, we have an outlook that respects humanity, that have values, okay, that cares for the peace and tranquility in the society. So ultimately it is what, it is nothing but an agenda, or we can say better, it can be said that it is a propaganda used by this group of people, through which they try to fulfill their vested interest. So education is something, here the role of education is prescriptive. Okay, education can be used as a means to solve the problem of terrorism, or we can say that those youths who are vulnerable to join such kind of organization, we can mold their minds, and we can provide them some kind of uh, skills, educational skills, or some kind of vocational skills through which they can empower themselves. Okay, and they don't resort to such kind of violence, and we can reorient their minds in a manner that they develop resilience, they develop critical understanding among themselves. Okay, so education is something here, the role of education is very, very significant. Okay, it is only through education. See, education here, I don't mean that exam oriented education. Education here is the kind of education which is a kind of education that is value inculcation. It is a kind of education that is leading to developing some entrepreneurial skills among the youth, that leads to the establishment of some kind of we can say that ventures by people. So education here, the role of education is quite important. For example, here I would like to, though it is not something that is related to terrorist or something, but here the role of education can be very nicely explained. The case of Tihar jail. Tihar jail is one of the very, very, we can say that it's a very important kind of jail or prison in India. And here we have seen how the stakeholders of that particular jail have transformed the life of the prisoners over there, by engaging themselves into meditation, by engaging themselves into different kind of non-formal means of education, by engaging themselves into some kind of vocation through which they learn preparing goods and other products which are sellable in the market, and which were again it means for their empowerment. So ultimately it is education that can solve, that can mitigate the problem of violence in our society. And here the role of organizations such as this UNESCO and UNICEF are very, very significant, and they are doing also, means they have taken tremendous measures for the war affected areas like Syria, and even in Naxalites lands, and the areas affected by Maoism. People are working over there, so that those children who have witnessed violence, the children those who have seen their parents being killed in front of their eyes, they don't become perverted in future, because there is a there is high probability that this kind of violence will affect their mental their mental level. And this is very crucial for the government, or we can say the stakeholders, to bring about or orient their minds in such a manner through different forms of education and training. For example, it may be meditation, it may be counseling, okay, it may be some kind of knowledge on conflict resolution, so that they can spread it further. So ultimately, education is something here we find that it is something that can bring out those people who are living in those war affected regions, and those who are the most vulnerable to some they can be mainstreamed through the scheme of education. Another point I would like to mention here is that see this terrorism is something, it is it emerges out of some kind of you see mental, what should I say, it is a kind of menace, some kind of psychological state of mind, which often comes out when we feel isolated from the rest of the group. For example, you might have noticed that during this pandemic, the situation of pandemic that we are right now, you will find that the youths of, or the people of northeast who are residing outside this particular region, they are being humiliated and abused on many grounds because of their look, and they are said that they are the bearers of this kind of pandemic. So this ultimately creates what, a feeling of contempt, a feeling of isolation among a group of people, and they ultimately feel segregated from the rest of the society. So it is very, very essential for us to change the mindset of the people. The kind of education that we provide, it is an education that only helps us to pass the exam. We are not inculcating the proper values, we are not developing critical understanding, we are not developing the values of equality, we are not developing the kind of fraternity that needs to be practiced through education. So if we want to curb the problem of violence in society, if we want to solve the problem of terrorism or any such kind of civil war or insurgency from the society, the role of education becomes very significant. And we, as the student of human rights and peace education, we as the what should I say, that we as the stakeholders in this scheme, we need to design or come up with some schemes which can help to rehabilitate people who are the victims of such kind of genocide, or such kind of terrorist activities. So it is very essential for us to design a curriculum or content that I think in your fifth unit you will have that detailed analysis. But for the time being, I am mentioning some of them. We need to have take into consideration all such thing. We need to incorporate the incidents, the stories of harmony, of social inclusion, through which that kind of attitude is developed among the people, so that we stand for each other. Because India is a multicultural society, it has people from diverse background, and not only India, globally now, no society is it is not homogeneous in nature. All societies are heterogeneous in nature. All societies have their own different kinds of people belonging to different ethnic groups and different linguistic groups, and it is really essential to respect diversity. If we can respect diversity, only then we can stop this kind of occurrences, we can solve the problem of terrorism. So this is something that we need to think about, because otherwise the democracy will not sustain. democracy sustains on the values of uh, equality. Democracy sustains on the values of uh, fraternity. It sustains on the ideals of justice. Okay, means everyone is entitled to a fair treatment. Okay, equal treatment. So how we can ensure that? We can ensure that only when we have a proper kind of training, and that training is being given by education. Okay, so coming back to the issue of terrorism, again I am saying that it is something that a global kind of problem, and this problem needs to be addressed from its root. Okay, if we want to carve out the problem completely, then we need to reorient people belonging to those areas where they are more vulnerable, or people belonging to some community. We need to reorient them. We need to spread education to them in such a manner that they learn those things. See, gender equality is something, again, is related to the problem of terrorism. Okay, we find that the women are somewhat are subjugated, or they are treated in a very derogatory manner whenever any such occurrence are taking place. So this is something that we need to do, gender sensitization program through education, and this gender sensitization will automatically solve the problem of this kind of heinous act. For example, I am telling you, terrorism is not only confined to killing of people, mass killing of people. It has some other facets also. Okay, for example, drug trade. Okay, child soldiers. Then it has human trafficking. Women are being, as I told you, used as slaves. So these are the extortion, these are the problems associated with terrorism. So it is ultimately a complete violation of the rights of the individual, about which we are discussing here. First of all, it is a violation of the right to life. The right of the life of people is endangered completely. They don't give any value to the idea of rights of life of the individual. Freedom of speech and expression is something that is not at all taken care of. Right to education is also not given any respect in their ideology. So it is something, a very suffocating kind of one. It is, we can say that it is a kind of a force that ultimately results into the establishment of a power structure, which will be entirely based on dogmas, which won't give any space to reason. So it is ultimately something we need to curb out from its root. And if we can curb it out from its root, for example, those who are living in the war affected region, we, as UNICEF is doing, some programs are being initiated for those children, to motivate them towards education, to motivate them towards a kind of a program through which they can be, we can say, they can be humanized, they become sensitive towards other communities, and they learn about the other culture, that ethnocentrism, or the kind of enculturation that is required. So this is not the education of only reading, writing and arithmetic. That kind of education is completely an education that is based on therapy, where we are trying to mold the minds of the young children in such a manner that they restore their faith to humanity. They respect the culture, they respect the values of other individuals, other groups. When they will understand the element of heterogeneity that is being prevalent in the society, only then we can solve this kind of violence and hatred. Because this violence and hatred is nothing but when we consider our own ideology, our own existence, most important, and others existence as completely meaningless, then only this kind of problems are arousing. Okay, and Another important thing that we need to do here is that we need to bring out such policy, such programs, through that education is accessible to all. Okay, though right to education is something now most of the countries have come up, but uh, this right to education needs to incorporate peace and values as one of its major components. Otherwise this kind of education will not change the mindset of the people. People won't develop that kind of sensitive towards the fellow human beings belonging to different religion, different caste. So this is very very significant. This is very significant, and we need to have a kind of cultural exchange among different groups through education, so that we develop the kind of respect, we developed a kind of admiration towards the other. And as I told you that in some of the cases it is terrorism is exhibited as insurgency, as in India. Here we find that extreme poverty is something that is responsible for such kind of occurrence. Here again the role of education is very very significant. How it is significant? Because of the fact that if we can provide some kind of skill based training to the individuals, so that there are so many indigenous kind of crafts that are part of our society, which were being completely destroyed at one point of history. So if we can rejuvenate those crafts, if we can rejuvenate the some of the crafts like textile, then pottery, so many other crafts are there. So those crafts should be a part of our curriculum, so that those who are suffering from extreme poverty, they can get a kind of education which is giving them or helping them in empowerment, social empowerment, and so that they don't resort to such kind of violent means. So this is very very essential at this point. And another important thing is that what I feel, or we should do, when we think about the problem of terrorism, we have to ensure the rights of the indigenous people. This is very very essential. Indigenous people means that the rights of the tribals and the rights of all those who are the indigenous community, we need to protect their rights, okay, so that they feel a kind of affinity, they feel a kind of belongingness to the nation. Okay, so this is again a very very important point. And what is most important here is nothing but a proper kind of training. Okay, so we need to prepare a group of youth, okay, or we can say that we need to prepare a task force of educationist or educational activists who can mold the minds of the young people who are having some kind of backwardness as far as their level of education or their economic background is concerned, because these two are the important factors. If we can work more on these two factors, then we can bring change, or we can solve the problem of violence in our society. Because when our outlook is broadened, when we have our exposure is high, when we learn accepting others through education, then only this kind of problem will be solved to a large extent. Okay, so this is very very important. Okay, so we need to give much emphasis on training, we need to give much emphasis on developing critical understanding, so that we develop a kind of resilience to negate the idea of hatred and violence. And we can we can make a society, or we can build up a society free from all kinds of violence. Okay, because it is the need of the hour. We have already lost so much. Okay, we have lost, and the entire world is on the verge of you know uh, collapsing to such kind of a stigma. So what we need to do, we need to have such kind of a program through which we can develop, or we can develop the culture of peace. We can resort to conflict resolution peacefully, and we can accept others. We recognize the value of diversity. We recognize the element of heterogeneity in us, and that will be something very very a crucial step, I would say, to solve the problem of terrorism. Okay, so this is what I wanted to discuss with you about terrorism, and I will be sharing some study materials with you. You can read about, see, terrorism as a concept is discussed in many subjects. It is also discussed in political science, law, sociology. So how is ours discussion different? We need to find out a solution to the problem of terrorism. We are not here to bring out the facts regarding how many terrorist attacks are being taken place, or how terrorist attacks are just killing mass people. Our target is something different. We want to find out the plausible solutions through which the problem of terrorism may be completely eliminated from its root. So this is something we need to think about, and the steps that I have told you, that vocational education, value education, then conflict resolution, building a culture of peace through education. These are some of the means, develop critical understanding, to respect diversity through our curriculum and content. These are some of the measures that can really solve the problem of terrorism to a large extent. Okay, so this is for today. I shall come up with another lecture series in the couple of days. Thank you.